Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back to another episode. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about how you can survive out here in Mexico with nothing. Well, practically nothing, almost nothing. I mean, I came out here with about $1,500 to my name, and I sure as hell survived. I've been here almost 5 years and counting. So I'm going to be telling you a little bit more about that, and hopefully that'll be able to inspire you, give you guys some tips, and maybe get you that fire under that butt that you need, in order to, finally get that motivation you need to get out here. So you already know how we do out here. I'm just gonna, flip this camera around. All right, I'm gonna be showing you what's in front of me as we just take a walk through a random neighborhood out here in, Merida, Yucatan. All right. And so the reason I chose here is just because I was driving around, had some errands to run in the neighborhood, and I came to, I saw this baseball field. I saw people playing baseball on a Saturday afternoon, and I was like, oh, let me swing by and show you guys a little bit what's going on over here while we talk about how you guys can come out here and survive on nothing. Now, if you need to really hear this, you're probably someone that doesn't know how to survive on nothing. I think a lot of people that know how to survive on nothing, they themselves have they already know how to figure it out, how to come out here and just make it happen and live this awesome life. But there's a lot of people out there that still have no idea, what it is, or how to, just come out here and start all over with nothing. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So in today's episode, I'm going to be telling you about, my story, about how I got here, and we're going to just go from there. So for a lot of you guys already know my story, know my origins, where I came from, all that good stuff. Some of you guys don't know, but yeah, long story short, I was on very hard times. I only had about $1,500 to my name, and I had like about 3 weeks to find a new place to live, and that's where I ended up out here in Merida, Mexico. Basically, I kind of just put my finger on a map, found a place to live, came out here and started all over. Now, it was a lot easier for me, granted, the fact that I spoke Spanish, so that really kind of like put things in fast forward for me. Let's not kid ourselves. That made things a lot easier for me. But the reality is that, that's why I chose Mexico. I chose Mexico simply because I spoke already Spanish, and again, trying to make it as easy as humanly possible for me, because it was already a very difficult endeavor that I was going to be, taking upon myself. And so that's why, again, I chose Mexico over, all this stuff. But, again, I came out here, $1,500 to my name, and I had to rent an Airbnb or rent a place to stay. I had to find a place to live with that money. I had no income to speak of. I was working Uber back when I was in the US, in LA, and so with that being said, I was working Uber, so how the hell was I going to do that here? I wasn't going to be able to make that money here. I wasn't going to be able to do that here. So I had to figure out what to do. So I was already working online, but I didn't have a job online. I was doing online gigs, meaning I already know how to edit videos. I already know how to make videos, produce videos, do things like that. And so I was like, well, what can I do from the comfort of my Airbnb in Mexico? And I'm like, well, I can edit videos for people, and I can charge a lot cheaper since I don't have to pay that much rent. I don't have that many bills, So by the way, I'm just going to show you one side of the street, and then on the walk back, I'll show you the other side of the street. But as I was saying, I kind of already started figuring. I had a budget. I already knew how much I had, how much I was going to spend, how much I had to spend, all that stuff, and then budgeted accordingly. So I knew I had to come up with a certain amount every month, and I just made sure to keep working until I got that certain amount every single month, and just went from there. And since it was a very, very, very minimal life that I was living, I was just basically, again, in the US, I had to choose between living on the street or living out of my car. So when I came to Mexico, I kind of had that same mentality, where I was just going to be, out here living, very, very, very humbly. Again, I had to constantly remind myself, hey, I can't get too comfortable, remember where you came from and what you were just about to embark on, you know, meaning, you know, living out of your car, living on the street. So, you know, again, I wasn't fancy. I was just eating beans and eggs every day. I was just eating a lot of you know, whatever I could afford. All right, and I wasn't worried too much about, you know, certain things. I was more worried about survival than anything else. Apologize for the music here. So yeah, like as I was saying, you know, at the end of the day, I was just more worried about survival than anything else. And because of that, I was able to survive. I was a survivor. I'm a survivor. So for all survivors out there that are already living paycheck to paycheck in a very, very difficult life, just know that you're gonna have hands, you know, a hands up when you come out here. It's gonna be a lot easier for you than the average person out there, just simply because of that fact. And so, you know, with that being said, what was I saying? So yeah, so I came out here, and what I was doing is that, like, I was editing videos. But you're like, well, how did I get videos? Well, I mean, how did I get jobs? Well, I went online, and they have like these online gig places, you know, that are simply you know, places where, you know, like Fiverr, Upwork, whatever, and you're like work for hire. So basically, you know, you're out there and you're working for somebody for hire. You know, somebody is looking for an editor, someone's looking to make a logo, someone's looking to make whatever, and then they'll just hire you. And then you know, you're just like a whatchamacallit, a paid employee. Not a paid employee, I'm sorry, sorry, it's a little hard to walk and talk at the same time. But anyways, hired work. You know, I was just in a hired whatchamacallit, a contractor. All right, so I was just hired out, like hired work, hired contract work type stuff. But that wasn't enough, because I had to rely on people to seek me out, and I was in the sea of many other people doing the same thing. So what I did is I went on Craigslist, and I scoured Craigslist, and I was just looking for, you know, people that were posting, hey, I need an editor, hey, I need someone to help me with my social media, hey, I need help with this, I need help with that, you know, yada yada yada, things that I could basically do remotely. And so I was checking out all the cities in the US, mainly in Los Angeles, because, you know, Los Angeles had a lot of that kind of work. And so that's why, you know, I stuck to that, and I went with that. And that was basically paying the bills for a long time. You know, for a long time, that's how I was just, you know, I was just basically scratching, you know, what is it, like just scraggling through, you know, just basically making it, barely making it, barely surviving. But you know what, I had my own place, I had freedom, I had so many. I'm gonna start walking the other way, all right? I had my, you know, my own place, I had freedom, I had you know, man, it's just so many things that I could not have in the US doing the same thing. So I was extremely happy. Then as time went on, eventually I started getting a few bucks from YouTube, and I started getting a few bucks from like the consulting, you know, that I do with you guys and stuff like that. It was trickling in. It was the beginning of all that. And as that was going on, I was you know, earning more money, and like I had to rely less and less on doing those gigs, on doing that kind of online work. Now again, for you out there, you know, you could just basically teach English online, you know, you could do, you know, so many other, you know, online gigs just to get your foot, you know, in the door, just to get started. You don't have to necessarily get an actual job. You know, some people can get an actual job online, an actual, you know, something that's going to pay them, and they only have to work a certain amount of hours and all that good stuff. But, you know, it's not for everybody. Like, not for me. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to live like that. I wanted to have as much freedom as humanly possible. And so that's why I'm, you know, I make YouTube videos, and I sacrifice myself so much in order to make these videos and do the things that I do, because I prefer this over having to get a regular job. You know, so anyway, so back to that. So it wasn't until a while, it took over a year and a half for me to really, you know, be able to like kind of like live a little bit off of this. But at the end of the day, by the time I got married, by the time started, you know, going by, passing on, I realized, oh, wait a minute, it's not paying the bills, you know, as much as I thought it was going to pay the bills. And because of that, you know, I started doing a bunch of other things, you know, just trying to figure out, you know, how to continuously make money. And again, if you notice from all the videos that I make and all the things that I show you, for the most part, you know, people are always out here hustling, doing something, working on something, you know, have their own business, whatever. And you know, we're gonna be, I think, you know, you guys already seen videos as I talked about business. I'm gonna be showing you more on the business aspect and side of things as we go on. But yeah, long story short, you know, I mean, this is a continuation of that topic in a sense, because it's like you got to survive somehow. And I know plenty of people that survive out here, you know, just selling like plants and selling cactus and selling all kinds of things out of the front of their house. You know, other people that do services like me, or other kinds of services, you know, anything, any skill that you have can basically be translated to out here, and you can, you know, do it out here, but you just got to hustle. If you're already kind of hustling back home, if you're already kind of used to that, doing that, living that life, it'll be a very easy transition. If you already have a small business, you know, so if you're an entrepreneur, if any of these things, you know, you already got a leg up on a lot of these things, you know, on surviving out here and coming out here. The language barrier is the biggest thing, more than anything else. But at the end of the day, even if you have very little skills that don't have much to offer, you know, you can still, you know, be able to make money out here, because there's so many gigs that you can do online. You just got to be resourceful. You got to be, you got to think outside the box. You got to like literally, you know, what you may call it, like, try different things and new things, you know. It's all new and also all different, and it's all part of like the same thing. So for example, you're living a new life, you're moving to a new country, you're starting a whole new endeavor in your life, a whole new journey in your life. Well, you're probably gonna have to start, you know, with a new job as well, and a new career and a new everything. So, you know, you could probably do like voiceover work, you know. You could probably, like I said, you know, have something that you can start up and you know, sell out of, you know, sell your products, sell your things out of the Facebook groups out here, you know. Cater to expats with certain, you know, skills and certain things. I don't know, like I said, you got to figure it out, you know. You got to think outside the box. But how can you survive? Again, very easily. I know that's how the title of the show was, and I'm out here already like, how long, you know, like 12 minutes plus, and I still haven't really hit the nail on the head here as to how you can survive with nothing. And basically, it's what I said. You got to come out here with a little something. All right, that little something, you know, basically being, you know, like some sort of money that you're going to be using in order to, you know, rent the first place that you're going to rent, you know, pay for food, pay for the basics that you need. I came out, like I said, I made it with $1,500, and that was many years ago. Again, 5 years ago, just about. So it might be a little different now. You might need $2,000 or $2,500. But at the end of the day, if you're in a similar position where you gotta figure something out quick, or you're gonna be on the street living like me, you know, where I had a similar situation, you know, you know, can make $2,500 appear out of nowhere. Because the reality is that, remember, you got to move out. You need to, you know, that's money, that's rent money for the next month and expenses for the next month, in a sense. And I'm sure you have a few bucks in savings. You got to. If not, these are things that you got to work on. You got to work on having at least a few bucks, having a little bit of scratch, as they like to say, having something to your name, you know, so that you can come out here with basically nothing. All right, just a few $1,000s, a few bags of clothes, and you can not only survive but thrive out here, you know, like really thrive, and really you know, be able to take it to the next level. But the reality is that it's all up to you. It's sure, these videos help, and I got a lot of information that was very helpful, and you can do, you know, things like call me and have a little Zoom call, you know, $50 for a Zoom call, and you know, I can answer more questions, help you out even more, go more in depth, all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, you know, most of you people out there that are watching this video still all the way through here, you know, you probably won't be able to afford that $50, you know, for a Zoom call, and you just got to figure it out. And that's what I'm trying to say. If you're already figuring it out, if you're already going through a similar situation where you're at, you're gonna be fine out here. But for those that have no idea how to start over, have no idea, you know, how to embark on something insane like this, you're probably gonna, you know, have a more difficult time, you know, having to start over and deal with the situation. Because that's just the reality of it, you know, because you need some sort of income, and it might not be much. Like I said, just a few gigs here and there, a few bucks over here and there, yada yada yada, but that's enough. that's enough to get it going. I mean, think about it. I've made videos talking about cost of living, and I've detailed as to how you can get by out here for about 450 bucks a month. And a typical, you know, person that lives out here, a typical resident, they probably don't even make that much. You know, my handyman, you know, doesn't live in like the greatest of places, but I know his rent is not more than 1,500 bucks. You know, grandma's rent isn't more than 1,500 pesos. All right, grandma's rent isn't more than 1,500 pesos. This guy's rent is probably not more than 1,500 pesos. Okay, so see, he understood what I was saying. So so that's what I'm trying to get at, you know what I mean? So you know, you gotta like just realize that, you know, in order to really survive out here, you got to be a survivor. You know, in order to really be able to, you know, survive and thrive with nothing and start with nothing, you gotta already have not only that mentality, but have the ability to do something like that, or already be in a similar situation. And that's the thing, you know what I mean? If you're willing to live like the typical person, the typical Mexican out here in Mexico, then you'll be fine, and you don't need much, and you can just, you know, figure it out with online gigs. Eventually you'll have some actual gigs out here, and you'll be able to do your own thing, have a small business, do a little whatever. But again, it's about lowering those expectations, because the reality is that you're just trying to survive, right? So if you're just trying to survive, then why you got all these expectations so high and trying to be all fancy and live all fancy? I mean, that's just a different animal, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to survive and live out here with nothing, come out here with nothing, have nothing, and you would, again, not only survive but thrive, you got to be willing to not just live like the locals. You got to like embrace the local life and live out here amongst the people, and you'll be fine. You'll be totally fine. You're gonna see how much your life is gonna improve compared to whatever situation you were gonna have back home. Like I said, you know, I don't give a crap, you know what I mean? I feel a lot safer living on the streets out here, if I had to, than living on the streets back home. You know what I mean? If I'm hungry, someone will give me food. If I'm thirsty, someone will give me water. If I'm too, you know, in a messed up situation, someone's gonna help me out. It's just a very different, you know, situation out here. And that's the thing, you know, in the US and in Canada and other countries, it's just a very different animal, man. And out here, like I said, you know, your chances of survival, your chances of making it with nothing are extremely high, because you know what? Many people that live out here make it with nothing. Many people out here start from the bottom, all right? As Drake likes to say, all right, started from the bottom, now we're here, all right? So, and that's the thing, you know what I mean? Out here, you know, people don't care about getting the nicest bike. They're looking about just, they might want to make sure they get a bike or a truck, you know what I mean? If someone that has a truck like this is basically, that guy works a lot, and that guy earned that truck. You feel me? In a sense, that's what people look at out here. It's a very different thing. It's not more like, you know, that guy bought it with debt. That guy just bought it to show off and look nice and all that. No. You know what I mean? It's just very different. And so you got to be able to embrace all that. You got to be able to embrace anything and everything. And you'll be able to, like I said, you'll be able to really survive out here with nothing. Because when you get here, you'll quickly realize there's so much abundance of everything out here, and all you got to do is just go out there and get it. Meaning, you know, you just need a few bucks. You know, you go online, earn a few bucks, a few dollars, and those few dollars, you know, are worth gold out here. Well, at least for now, while the exchange rate remains the same. Let's not talk about that subject, but you know, long story short, you know, you got to remember, you have the abilities to earn, you know, euros, dollars, Canadian loonies, whatever, I don't know, whatever it is, Canadian dollars, Canadian American dollars, you know, you guys have the ability to earn other currencies that are a lot more valuable than the peso at the moment. So when you earn that, think about it, you know, it's tripled out here. So if you're out there making $10 an hour these days, let's say you get a job and you're making $10 an hour in the US, you know, online, you know, out here, that's really more like 30 bucks an hour. Think about that. You're making like $30 an hour out here. And that's just as simple as that, you know. So it's like you can earn a lot less to live very nice and fancy. And again, don't get it twisted, you know, like having a house like this Like having a very, very nice house it's a lot cheaper than what you might think. You know, what gets expensive are all the luxuries and all the other stuff, you know what I mean, that most people don't need but want. And you already know how these things are. But anywho's, you know, like I said, you know, you really want to save money, you just hang your clothes outside on your roof or in your backyard. You don't need a dryer. You know, a dryer not only costs money, but it also you know, will cost you money in the long run. You know, for what convenience? You know, the reality is that like hanging your clothes is a lot healthier. It kills more bacteria than putting in a dryer. And I could go on and on. You know, it's like a zillion examples of the same thing. And so that's the thing, you know what I mean? You know, in order for you to really be able to have a wonderful, wonderful life out here and be able to really just survive with nothing and come out here with nothing and you know, again, in a sense, you know, nothing, and really thrive, you got to just have that mentality of not just abundance and the fact that, you know, that there is it everywhere. You know, again, you know, out here people are watching a baseball game for free. They're just hanging out here. You know, like I said, it's just about lowering those expectations. It's about really realizing what's important in life and what's not important in life, and just, you know, so many other things. And so that's why I think for a lot of people, you know, these transitions is very easy, and for other people the transition is very difficult. And I think that even though I was all over the place in this video, if you still made it all the way through and you're still here listening to me, there must have been something in this video that, you know, resonated with you and is hopefully helping you, aiding you in your journey to get out here or wherever you're going. But at the end of the day, I know it's not easy, trust me. And that's why I try to make these videos, you know, to hopefully just give you a little bit more of that encouragement that you might need in order to realize that, hey, you know, you can make it with nothing out here. You don't need much, you know, because if you really just look at what you really need, you need food, water, shelter, right? And that's it. Everything else is in a sense arbitrary, right? So you can get all those things covered out here for a very minimal amount of money, of work, and from that, you know, it allows you to build on everything else that you might want, desire, whatever. So that's what I think we're at, you know what I mean? I think at the end of the day, you know, if you really want to enjoy life, you can enjoy life. It's really up to you. And you know, right now these guys, you know, all these guys are just regular guys, you know, just, you know, the regular baseball team, like you might have a softball team, and just enjoying life, you know what I mean? Just, they're gonna play each other here. They got two teams over there, each team, you know, I think this is the paint team, right? Burrell's paint, and then the other team is the bus team, you know, they're like the bus company, you know, that takes people all over the place. So, and those are the sponsors, and you already know, you know, we got these back home as well, but like it's just different. You got people in the stands, you probably, I don't know if you can see it or not, but yeah, just living life and enjoying life, and just, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and you know, you can survive out here on nothing. You don't need much. You know, you see people surviving on nothing all the time in all my videos all around me, and that's the thing, you know, you can do the same. It's just up to you whether you want to do the same or not. Hola, buenas tardes. Buenas tardes. You see, those guys are definitely a lot happier than you are, and they definitely don't have much, you know what I mean? So that's the thing, you know what I mean? It's not, it's about, you know, dropping those expectations, you know, if they're not already dropped, and realizing, you know, what really matters in life, you know, kind of like, you know, hitting that on the head, you know, and just making sure, being true to yourself and just being honest with yourself as to what really matters to you. You know, is it the bling bling, or is it, you know, freedom, peace and quiet, you know, everything that, you know, life out here brings. And so, you know, like I said, can you survive out here and nothing? That most definitely, most definitely. But do you got to work hard to survive on nothing? 100%. Would you got to work as hard as a typical Mexican? No, you don't. But you still got to do it. It's the work is beyond the financial. It's also from within. All right, I don't want to get all mopey, spiritual, and motivational in this video, even though that's probably, you know, what this video has turned into. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. All right, it's time for me to go. As you guys can see, the beast is over there waiting for me, and we gotta go. We gotta move on to the next destination, which means I gotta say goodbye. So you already know the deal, guys. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to please like, please subscribe, please share, please hit the bell icon, but more importantly than anything else, please stay awesome. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.